Hey you guys. Um so I'm back with the second story. Um I think I'm going to find a name for this series because I didn't think that I'd start freestyling what I'm doing on here and start doing other things. Like you see the last week I did in the last video I did something about my hair, and now I'm here again, continuing with the last series that I began. So I think I'm going to find a name for this. Um, I was remembering this guy who I used to watch a long time ago in campus, and he used to do these small videos on YouTube and call them webisodes, and his intro would be like on this installment of the Chase God webisodes. So I think I'm going to find a name for them because I'm actually going to create a playlist, but I'm going to find a name for what I'm doing because I need to be able to introduce it in a better way than I am right now. But as you can see on the channel, there's only like 6 videos, so, and like 3 of those are shorts, or is it 7? I don't know. It's still, this channel is still at its inception, and so let's just go with it vile inakuja, si ndio? So on today's story, on the last video that I made, on the last time we were here, I think this is going to be the main place where I come for these videos, so that you can differentiate them with everything else I'm doing. So on the last time I was here, on the last video when I was here, I told you the story about how God helped me to pass my exams, my high school finals, the KCSE, and it was a really it was a wonderful. It was a wonder act, not a wonderful. It was wonderful, but it was a wonder act because I couldn't have done it on my own. It was just the hand of God that helped me to get through that. And so today I want to cover something else, and it's how the last the last the last webisode I called it my first mountain. So this is going to be my second mountain, and I'm going to be talking about like my journey from entry into Campo to finishing my law degree. Yeah, so and the thing is, I really wish that I could have been able to tell this story with my mom, because there are so many bits that she can be able to just not even chip in, because she was the one who was carrying the load of getting me into school, and she's really the one who had like the faith for it. And so I really wish that one day we can be able to do that, but for now it's just me, and I'm going to try to do this story justice. So let's go back to 2012. After the exams come out, I had passed. At the same time, I talked about, the standards, the societal standards of like, this is as high as you can go, or this is what you should achieve for people to call it passing, and this is, this is maybe mediocre or average, to say the least. So my grades were, let's say, average. Though I had passed, they were pretty average. And so we were wondering what to do next. Because the two things that I had always wanted to do since I was 8, I was always talking about being a lawyer. And the funny thing is that I had only seen this one lady, but I had never really interacted with her. I had never seen a lawyer like up close, live, never. I didn't even know any lawyers. I had only seen, na hizo times hata suits haikuwa imetokea. So it was this the things that I was watching to inspire me back when I was a kid was like there was this, most of them were Filipino telenovelas. Is that what you call them? They're like this hizi vipindi zikuja za hawa watu wa Philippines. Tulianzanga na The Promise and then tukaenda hii ingine ilikuwa inaitwa, I think ilikuwa inaitwa The Long Wait if I'm not wrong. Ilikuwa inaitwa The Long Wait na ilikuwa na this chick was called Katrina Argos and this guy was called Yuri if I'm not wrong. And those were the first people who inspired me to become a lawyer. Kwanza the way Katrina used to carry those big law books, those heavy ones. Nilikuwa naona niko like, and when I went to campo, I think people who are in my class or people who I went to campus with can attest to this. I used to be one of those girls who used to like the library, and I used to be one of those who always had those big books. And it's because I was living out my dream. So, and then there was this other one with, bado tu ni za wa Filipino. Kulikuwa na hii ingine ilikuwa na, you remember that guy? He's called Jericho Rosales and Bea Alonzo. They used to act, not Bea Alonzo. Bea Alonzo is Katrina. Okay. Who am I talking about? Jericho Rosales and Catherine. I think her name is Hermosa or Hermosa. I don't know. I don't know how to say her name. Catherine. I even follow her on Instagram now. God, I don't even know how to say her name. Anyway, he was Angelo, she was Ina in The Promise. But there's another one they did like way later. And I think sasa hii ndo ili solidify even like what kind of lawyer would I want to be. And maybe one day we'll talk about that. But the way he was like, he was a public defender, he was working this case, and he had opposition from his girlfriend's like family, but he stood with what he believed in. I think it was like a land matter, or it was like these people were being, they were becoming sick because of something that company ya kina huyu dem, baba yake, I think grandfather yake, familia yao, their company walikuwa wamefanya kitu ilikuwa ina affect the people wenye walikuwa wanaishi kwa hiyo land. So he was the one who was pushing their case, but he was also like a public defender. Alikuwa tu like state council if I'm not wrong. And I remember him standing up for those people despite the fact that he was going against his girlfriend's family. I really wanted to do this when there was sun, when there was a lot of light, but here we are. So those are the like the movies or the shows that were inspiring me to become a lawyer. But I had never seen one up close except like huyo dem moja. Tulikuwa tumepanda na yeye kwa matatu. And I think my mom knew her mom or something. That's the first time I saw her. The next time I saw her, I think it was in 2019, when now I had already finished. I was just about to be admitted. So, yeah, like full circle, it's crazy. Anyway, so we were wondering what to do with that. What's going on with this camera? Okay. We were wondering what to do with the grades that I got, because what I really wanted to do, ilikuwa ina demand, the cream. So this is where I say I wish my mom was here, because she's the one who really like saw everything through. I wish she was here. I wish she was the one telling the story, because yeye ndo aliona this whole thing through. So I don't even know where to start. This story cannot be complete without her. So I don't even know where to start. But I'm going to try. So we start wondering what to do. It's in March now. And then I only had two options. I wanted to do journalism, anything to do with media, and law. Those are the only two things that even my grades were supporting. And those are the two things that I always wanted to do. So we started wondering, saa tutafanyaje? And then my mom, like, she's a woman of faith. So akaanza sasa, like, anauliza Mungu na ana put steps. And then there's this girl that I went to high school with. She told me that she's pursuing law, and she had the same grades as I. And she had already, like, I think she had already registered or enrolled in uni. And I was like, hey, that quick. So I was like, I told my mom about her. So mamangu akaanza kupick up, akaanza kutafuta mashule. First akaenda kwa, I think she went to Daystar, and then she went to, is it Chuoen? And then she went to, I think, Kwea, if I'm not wrong. And then she had never heard of the school that I went to. I went to JKUAT. I went to Jomo Kenyatta University of Agriculture and Technology. She had never heard of that campus. She didn't even know they do law. But I don't know. That's why I'm saying I can't really tell this story without her. She should be the one filling in these gaps. But I think one of her connections akamwambia, because she had gone to choir, one of her connections akamwambia, by the way, JKUAT is just around, you should go and check. So she ended up going there to check, and then now she had her options. And I think some weeks later, now she went to KU and she looked at all of them. I essentially wanted to go to UON, and I would have, but there was the chances of getting picked in Parklands, which is where I wanted to go, were slim. Tulikuwa tunaambiwa sijui unaweza pelekwa Mombasa, or I think they have a campus in Kisumu. So I was like, there's no way. So because of that, tukai-cross X. And then KU, I don't know, there were some reasons why I think we didn't choose KU. And so here we had like choir and JKUAT, and I think those were the only ones we knew. But because of the way, yani everything, I think there was even like a family friend, or is it like a family member who works in JKUAT, and like he got her all the information and everything. So because of that, we ended up choosing JKUAT. But the way it came about, it was just amazing. It was nothing that was planned. This is what we call good speed. You know, there's this verse where there's a servant of our father Abraham in Genesis. When he's looking for a wife for Isaac, he asks God for good speed. And one of the meanings of good speed is an encounter that is not planned, you know, an encounter that is not planned, a meeting, an appointment. And so, like, I feel like that's the way JKUAT came about. And that's how we know that I was supposed to go there. There's some very weird birds flying around here. But anyway, let's try to do this before kukue na giza. And so, sorry. I'm really trying not to make this too long. So I ended up in JKUAT, and then I applied. So this was March. I think the exams ilitokeanga Feb. We had some time to go shuttling, moving back and forth, looking for schools and all that. And then, so I went, we registered. We registered in April. And then, now the issue was this school, and I think that's why we didn't even go with like Catholic University. This school, it was quite a penny. It was quite a penny, you know. But it was just one of those opportunities. You're like, I feel like my mom would be the best one to explain this, because I can't explain what she was going through, what she was being led by God to do. But it was one of those like big leaps of faith. And So I remember even she had told me, like, because now we had enrolled, we were wondering, like, how will I be going to school? Will I have to move there and stay in a hostel, or will I have, because they didn't even have like school hostels, but they have like other people who provide. So we were wondering how to do that. But at the end of the day, and I remember we had even planned to move. We had packed up everything. We had planned to move just so that I'd be closer and it would be easier for me to commute. But we ended up not moving. And I ended up going to that school. I I started my classes in May. So the exams come out in, I think, end of Feb. I can't really, mid or end of Feb, or is it March? I can't really remember. We have like a good month of figuring out what to do. We settle on JQuat. I register in April. I get the, oh, I apply. I think in April, or I think I applied in March. I can't really remember. There was an application process, and then I got my letter back telling me that now I should go and register. And then the registration and the classes started. I enrolled in May and started my classes. So it was a very small window, and you can hear like the money was crazy. We had never done that. First of all, even doing this course, it was just a dream. I didn't even think I could do it, but I ended up doing it. And so even the way that came about was just amazing. And there's one thing I can say though about the money thing. You remember when I said that we were supposed to move so that I'd be closer to school, so that we wouldn't have to pay like for hostel and whatever. But and then I think God was just leading us and showing my mom, like, just trust, that I'll provide. I'm Jehovah Jireh. And this is the whole Nini that I'm showing here. This is the dimension of God that I want to display in this story. He is Jehovah Jireh. He provides. I remember immediately, it's one of those, like, take the first step, I will amplify, you know? Like those lepers when they were walking, is it from Samaria to the camp of the Syrians? And yeah, you guys, I'm going to be using a lot of like stories just to just to back up what I'm talking about. So, Bible stories at that. So, the Samaritans, when they were taking steps, God was amplifying them, and He was supernaturally making things happen so that as they would move forward, they would not find their enemies there, and the prophetic word that was released would be fulfilled. Here's another thing that I wanted to say. When I was a baby, when I was born, my mom held me in her arms, and she spoke greatness, but one of the things that she said is that I'd be a lawyer. So even in this whole story, I believe that one of the things that God was doing, He was making all things come together so that that prophetic word would be fulfilled. I'm not saying my mom is a prophet, but I'm saying she spoke it when I was a baby. When she held me like this, she said I'd be a lawyer. And guess what? I started loving law. Since I was 8, I just always wanted to be a lawyer. Then now it was time. And for that prophetic word to come to pass, she had to take steps. And this is where I was going with the money thing. So the school fees was quite high, and you had to pay 3/4 before you got in, before you enrolled. Otherwise, I think you'd have the option of deferring, if I'm not wrong. So if I didn't go in May, I would have had to go in September. And so now this is the other thing, and this is how God provides. So my mom gets her money together, she pays 3/4, and she's wondering how she's going to be able to be paying consistently, because I think her salary could not cover it, and hostel fee. Kai, me, when I speak about this, when I look just at my life, I'm just like, God, it was God. So immediately I enroll. I think now I'm in school. God anaongeza mshahara. like a good amount. And that's when I think she started like to even like should save up, because I remember there were times now when I was already in school, there were times, because that's when the county government, because 2013 we got a new president, and 2010 we had a constitution, we had another constitution which was now introducing what is it called, devolution. So the counties were now getting some people to work for them, and she's one of those people. So yeah, some services were devolved to the counties. So she had to, like, I remember there were times, like, because before they figured out this devolution thing, there were times their salaries would be delayed for like sijui how many months. Na hiyo time yeye analipa yake na mi ananilipia mimi, na bado anataka kujua atalipaje hii school fees. And it was a lot. Like, if you know how much they pay there, you will understand why I'm saying it was a lot. Kwanza for an ordinary person. Like, we are ordinary people. We are not rich at all. So, like, for that to happen for us, it could only have been God. So, I get into school. I'm living the dream. Si unajua sasa, the dream. I'm carrying those big books like Katrina Agos. Like Katrina Agos, And then there was another thing. Forgive me if any of my classmates see this. Just forgive me for saying this, but like, actually don't forgive me. It's the truth. Whatever, man. Culture shock. Culture shock. Hey, what Karen is not for like, what? Culture shock. And those are some of the things that were just letting me know, like, you're not here because of yourself or anything that you did. Yes, you are here, and yes, you deserve to be here, but never imagine that this is your own doing. And so even being there, like, was so humbling. Like, hey, ilikuwa culture shock mbaya sana. Like, the people I was like now around, whatever, but it was such an eye-opening experience. I love, and I know that that's why God picked there and not UON or KU, because I would have gone to either of the two. But I know that that's why God picked that school and narrowed it down, because well, I think I needed that exposure. Kabisa. I really did. And so, like, yeah, it was quite a humbling experience, just even being there. But then I also remember the hostel I used to stay at when I was in first year. That hostel. Like, there's stories upon stories. There's stories upon stories of that place. But that was another place, like, I can only say it's God, like, who kept me during that time. But I think I can tell so many stories about Campo and the places I used to live in, the kind of people I used to hang out with, all the things that happened, so many things that God did for me during that time. But I can say, like, that place where I think it's just, hey, ilikuwa tu Mungu. It was a fun place by the way, but like, for somebody maybe who was sheltered, coming from a very like traditional background, sheltered, never seen some things, never seen some things. And then you go to a place where now it's everywhere. It's just there. I think I'll do another episode of now just talking about that specifically. And maybe, yeah, I think I'll do that in another nini. But I remember I used to walk from there sometimes it was like a shortcut because they didn't have, yeah, I used to walk from there now when I was going to class in JKUAT, and I used to pass through now the actual law school, the Law School of Kenya. And so that was the shortcut. Ilifungwa. This is the funny thing. When now I finished even my exams, my bar exams, those were the days when that shortcut ilifungwa like kabisa. Like when I completed school, I completed like my law education. That's when hiyo shortcut ilifungwa. But when tulikuwa tunapitia hapo tukitoka hostel tukienda class, and I used to be like, guy, this place is so close. Because you know that's the goal. Undergrad is one thing. It's raining, yani. Undergrad is one thing, but law school is a whole, like law school is the aim, you know. Okay, for some people, maybe they just want a law degree, but if you want to be a lawyer in Kenya, undergrad is a prerequisite of getting to law school. So nilikuwa napita hapo and I used to see it and I used to be like, wow, it's so close, because I'm literally napitia nje ya hiyo fence yao. It's so close, but it's so far. Yani, when you see like, and then the stories we used to be told about how like people are not like, and it's true. Kai, me, when I tell you this journey, I can only tell you it is God. Like people who are denied, and those stories are still back a leo, because there was even another case I was looking at. Is it last Monday? Somebody suing the KSL because they denied them an admission. Those are stories tulikuwa tu tumezoea tu kusikia. So the fact that you're even doing law in undergrad, that is a good thing, but it's, unajua, like, hiyo tu ni ya kukwambia you have begun the journey, but the journey and that's kind of like the small things I want to like put out there just for anybody who would want to take up the same course, take the same path. I wish I had somebody to prepare me, because the only people who prepared me, there was this when I was in Form 3, there was this career fair I went to, and I met one of my like primary school friends, Ken, and we went to the people who are doing the law talks to kind of go, and the only thing they told us was, it's going to take you a long time. It's going to take you a long time. That's actually the only thing they told us. They didn't tell us the intricacies of the journey. So I hope that one day I can be able to like even just like, you know, tell you from the beginning to what the state is right now. But for this video, I just wanted to say like, even entry was a miracle. Even entry into that school was a miracle. And so I give God all the glory. I think in the next one, I'm going to be talking about how, like now getting through the degree, because that one was like, that was my second mountain. It was my second mountain, for real. There's even getting ulcers and getting sick at some point. And I remember when we entered, venye tu tulikuwa tu tumeregister, there was this like a photocopy place, and so people used to go there to get their documents photocopied or whatever. And so we went there, and the lady there told us, jikaze, because people usually quit by second year. Let me tell you, that lady was not lying. She was not lying at all. It was true. And so I'll talk about that in the next video. So thank you for watching.